Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with the Watauga County Arts Council. And as you know, the Watauga County Arts Council has a brand new space, the Blue Ridge Arts Space. And in that space, we showcase all kinds of arts. As a matter of fact, we have visual artists of all different descriptions, everything from maybe pottery or baskets all the way to paintings to you name it, everything in between. We have authors, we have a lot of other different folks, and we have a lot of musicians around too. Now, the Arts Council for many years has emphasized, with our concerts on the lawn that we did for 20 years, we emphasized all different kinds of music initially, but that kind of narrowed into a traditional focus for a period of time. But I got to remind you that the Arts Council cares about all kinds of music, and we have so much fun with so many different kinds of music. And so one of the types of music that we are recently kind of focusing on a little bit more than we have in the past is not what you probably are expecting when you see that David Smith here is holding a guitar. This is David Smith, who is a classical guitarist.
Yes.
And so your style of guitar playing actually has kind of evolved to that, from what I understand. You kind of didn't start out with, you didn't sit down one day and say, I'm going to learn how to play classical guitar.
Nope, nope.
Okay, so what did you do?
Well, I studied guitar for a long time, for about a year actually, on my own. I taught myself. And then
The traditional chords and all that
yeah,
stuff?
just, just like C, G, D,
Right.
E, the chords that you need to play a lot of popular songs. And I was fine with that for a while, but my interest went in other directions, and I got some good teachers, and one of them had a degree in music, and I thought, well, wow, maybe I'd like to do that. And I started learning to read music, and that happened to be, a lot of it happened to be in the classical tradition. What I was learning.
What your emphasis on.
Yeah.
Now, you did tell me that this, I think this is the same instructor that you said that you could come in with just about any kind of music and they could show you how to do that.
Yeah. There's a place in Concord called Music Consultants, and Randy Clay is the guitar teacher there. He also teaches bass, and he's really a very brilliant man. He would show me more or less anything I wanted to learn. I could bring a CD to him, and he could figure out what the guitar part was doing and show me how to play it.
So you played a little rock, and you played a little jazz, and you
Yeah.
played a little whatever else.
Yeah.
So did you at the time not know which direction you wanted to go in, or were you still already focusing toward classical?
I actually thought I was going to do singer-songwriter kind of stuff. And I gave it a try, and maybe it wasn't the right time. Or the the combination of lyrics and music sometimes can be hard to match up. So I got a special interest in just instrumental music. I wanted to learn more about music, just elements of music.
Okay, so you really got interested in music itself as a topic.
Yeah.
Now, do you only play classical now, or do you still branch out and go have some fun in some other areas?
I like to have a little fun. I don't play out as much with other styles, but I used to like to sit around and just improvise in my room, and I would try to learn jazz standards. I did a little jazz duo with a friend of mine from college during my undergrad. And since then, well, after I graduated my undergrad, I was in a cover band for about a year, and we played in Charlotte in some of the bars out there. I can't recall the names of the bars, but we were playing like kind of like top 40 songs.
Which is not exactly classical guitar,
no,
so
it's
that's
not
a very
at all.
different style.
Yeah, I even played like some Eric Clapton, and I always liked that. So it was a nice chance for me to get to play in front of people stuff that I used to just kind of play around with in my room.
That's really cool. Now, you have a master's degree.
Yeah, I just recently finished.
Okay, and from Appalachian
State.
And what's one do when they're getting a master's degree with classical guitar? What happens?
Well, you mean in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the program, well, you have to take classes like any other major, and you have a studio, which at Appalachian State we would meet once a week, and we would play something for the class. And of course you play for the school for what they call it's a kind of a recital hall, or there's a larger hall, and you just go in and play a piece or two, and they give you an opportunity to play in front of people. They call it seminar on Fridays.
And the critiquing and that kind of thing?
Well, that's not so much the critiquing, the studio does.
Okay.
The studio does, and so you'll play something, and then we'll talk about what everybody played that day.
So is the goal of a master's program to know a whole lot about music in general, or is it to fine-tune your skill?
More focused on the instrument.
Okay.
And so my instrument is guitar, and it was a master's in performance.
All right.
And some people do industries. That's the only reason why I say that, which is kind of a different
different approach
altogether. Yeah.
So that's it. Now, how long did it take you to get the master's degree?
2 years.
Okay, so it's not a fast track. It's something that takes for a master's. That's a decently long one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what are you doing now that you've got your master's degree?
Well, I've been trying to perform out as much as possible. One way to get your name known in classical music is to do competitions.
Right.
And I've been doing those over the summer, and you meet people. You get introduced to people who are in that style of music, and of course they can help to promote you if you so choose. And if you do well enough, you rank and you get some. I don't know how to say it. Once you've completed these competitions, get first, second, third prize for those. You're recognized for that, and you'll probably get more interest in people giving you calls and wanting you to come to universities and schools to perform.
Now, do you go to perform and also to teach, or you strictly go to perform?
Well, the competitions are strictly to perform, but there are lectures, and you get to learn just about what's new in classical guitar.
That's cool. But now you are teaching, though. You
I am
do
teaching.
teach. This is kind of the bread and butter, I assume. You know, is the way to keep the bills paid.
It is.
So, yeah.
It is.
So, what level of guitar student might you start out? How young? How inexperienced? What kind of basis do they have to start working with you?
Well, you know, I've run into some students of classical guitar, and I found out that a lot of them started at very young ages, which was not my case. I started at an older age. But you know, 5, 6 years old.
Really?
You could start learning to play guitar at that age. And I've heard younger. I've heard 3 and 4.
Wow.
But of course, you know,
It's a little guitar.
Yeah, at that age, you're just kind of like playing around with the strings, and but apparently that does help. Even at that young age, you can buy your kid a little toy guitar and let them.
Actually, you can rent it from the Arts Council.
There
We
you
don't
go.
have toy guitars, but we have small guitars.
Small guitars.
And so
Half size.
we can lease our guitars, and we also have other instruments as well that we lease to anyone who's taking lessons or just wants to have one around.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a great way for someone who, for example, a parent who says, well, my child's really interested in guitar right now, but 6 months down the way, they may have changed their mind and go to something else. So the parent doesn't want to invest in an instrument for a trial run, basically. So they rent one for a while, and then if it takes, then they buy them one, you know. And so now, so you might start a student at, what's the minimum age you would start a student?
The minimum age, you know, I think if you really want, if the child really had an interest in music, and if you had some specific interest in guitar, you know, 5, 6, 7, I don't.
Okay.
You know.
So you start them at the beginning levels. You don't just have. Okay.
Yeah, and there's ways of teaching them when they're younger. You don't necessarily have to teach them notation right away.
Right.
You can teach them just by ear and by imitation.
Kind of like the Suzuki method does with violin.
Right, and the Suzuki method is kind of what the universities use to teach. You know, they have them in private lessons, and then they put them in an ensemble where they can play with other kids their age.
And that's very important.
Yeah, it is. The combination of the two helps with reading ability, and it helps with musicality and making relationships.
Well, I'd love to have you bring some of your students as well. Now, he has already spent an evening doing a demo for folks that wanted to just come in and learn about classical guitar and see what he does, and that was really successful. I thought you did very well with that. Now, you had a very busy corner back there. He had one of the back corner rooms, and it was always kind of a traffic jam back there, so which is great. And I'd love to see you also bring in some students sometime and let them sort of showcase so people can see what happens when you're working with a student or see a student perform. Give a student a chance to perform,
Yeah.
So those are valuable opportunities for both the student and for the audience as well.
Yeah.
So you and I are going to have to talk some more about these things.
Okay.
So now we are helping him locate students to teach, and at least for now, he may be teaching some with us at the Blue Ridge Art Space. However, starting in late August, all of our instructors will be coming through the Community Music School, which we are more than happy to endorse and promote and help them along. We're partnering with them. But we're trying to help David locate students, so if you're interested in becoming one of his students, then he would love to talk to you, and we can connect you with him, or they can go to your website, which
That's
is
right.
DavidGabrielSmith.
DavidGabrielSmith.com. Yep.
So, and there's a way to email you there.
Yeah.
Or if you can't find that, call us and we'll get you to it. So there's a way to manage that. I would like for you to give people a sample of what you can do, and what classical guitar is. You know what I'm saying? And we'll listen to that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, not everybody that's taking classical guitar is going to play that well in the first little bit, right?
Yeah, no, it takes a while, and you want to give them music that's sort of at the level that they're at. So if they've played guitar before, maybe you give them something a little harder. If they haven't, you want to start them out. A lot of people start out with things like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and nursery rhymes and things like that. But if the person has a particular interest in a style of music, that helps too. You can go and search for music that's been published that's close to that, what their interest is.
So to play something of the level of what you just performed for us, how many years of training do you think it would take someone?
Well, that particular piece is a little more complicated because it uses a technique that you have to develop. Like a lot of styles of music, you have to develop certain muscle groups.
Yeah.
And that particular piece would probably take at least several years of work with the tremolo.
And a lot of finger exercise.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's not something that someone would be able to play very well
Right.
at the very beginning. They would need to work up to. You have to kind of learn the instrument first.
Okay, so
Yeah,
start out with
get-
something basic and work your way up gradually.
Finger
Yeah,
finger independence is what a lot of musicians try to strive for,
Well-
and that's something that comes with time.
You've shown us a goal. We're going to work toward that goal,
Yeah,
right?
you can make small steps along the way, which is what I had to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people in any style of music, they have to.
So if you
Set
would
small
like
goals.
to learn how to do beginning levels of classical guitar perhaps, but work your way towards something like what David has just shown you, I encourage you to get in touch with him, davidgabrielsmith.com, or the Arts Council's watauga-arts.com, or you can email us or call us, and we will help you get in touch with David. Also be sure and check out our second Saturday opportunities, because that was where David performed before, was a second Saturday, where we have 6 demonstrations going on. Well, actually we had 8 that night because we had some out in the courtyard. But we had many demonstrations going on, and we will always have something happening that's exciting in the arts, and it might be something different that you've never seen before. So it's an opportunity for you to come check things out and get to know different styles of the arts and different types of the arts. David, thank you for joining us and
Thank
for all
you.
you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again. Check our website, watauga-arts.org, for this and a lot more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.